I'm a Bible-believing Christian, and I'm completely opposed to Islam. And I am completely opposed to Islamic terrorism. And I'd be quite happy if we had no immigration of Islamic people into this country at all. But having let these people in, I keep hearing the assertion that they should not be allowed to practice their traditional culture. And I'm thinking, like, you let these people in the cause of multiculturalism, and in principle, letting these people be what they are. They don't have to become like us, like in the old days. They don't have to learn any English or assimilate with our culture. And yet you turn around and tell them they can't practice their culture. It's got to be like it was back in the 1950s. You just got to become like us. You know, oh yeah, that's right. You're busting your butt to create a nation of ethnic enclaves where these different ethnicities are here to enrich our culture. And then you turn around and say, oh, well, if there's parts of your culture I don't like, you can't do that. I mean, what a load of totally egregious hypocrisy that is. So, no, I don't think women, should be forced to forsake the burqa and the hijab. I don't think they should be banned. And this cry comes from the very multiculturalists who insisted that we have to, be culturally enriched through mass migration of as many foreign cultures as possible. And furthermore, I get incredibly agitated by the endless criticism of Islam for the way he treats women and homosexuals and all the rest of it. Now, this meshes in with the MeToo movement thing, because at bottom, the whole thing about the MeToo movement is that it simply reinforces the notion that women in society, as traditionally was the case, that women are deemed to be in need of protection from predatory men. The real essence of the MeToo movement is basically a return to the whole idea of women being protected by men, being chaperoned by men, that young ladies who go into a Hollywood producer's office should have an older brother or their father with them to protect them. And indeed, a lot of feminists at the start of the MeToo movement understood this and sort of really opposed this movement because they knew that it was a return to those old traditional ways of thinking. Now, you could say a lot about the MeToo movement and the kind of liberation of women sexually and how that intersects with male sexuality and so on. That would be a subject for another video. But I get a bit sick of hearing Islam put down for its treatment of women when at bottom that's basically what we are talking about. I don't believe Islamic men don't care about Islamic women. I don't believe that they were setting out to oppress women. They have simply set up a society where the main focus is the protection of women and the preservation of chastity and sexual purity with regard to women and family life. And I just get heartily sick of the way people carp and gripe about Islam on this basis. And how far would Harvey Weinstein have got if he'd frequently met with the response, oh, I'm a good Christian girl and I don't believe in premarital sex? I mean, how far would he have got then in his career of sexual predation? He would have given up pretty quickly, I would think. But of course, young modern women have been brainwashed into the belief that they are and should be sexually free. So how is that supposed to square with aggressive male sexuality, which is in fact an important component of the propagation of the species? And of course, the classic feminist retort to all of this is, oh, it's men who've got to get their act together and get themselves into line. It's a male problem, not a female problem. Well, that's fine. I had feminists telling me that in the 1960s. That line, obviously doesn't work. Something more is required. And a society like Islam makes an effort to do that through a certain amount of segregation and putting measures in place to rein in sexuality with regard to some kind of public sexual morality and protecting women. And until Western society returns to that kind of traditional view of things, this issue is just going to keep going round and round in circles. That's it for now.